Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
Welcome back to Outlaws and Gunslingers with your host Bang and Dang. It's the first Tuesday of the month, so you know that it means Mafia of the month. Don't even do it because nobody wants to hear it.
what?
We are finally, after literally 8 or 9 months, wrapping up the old Gambino crime family today with the one, the only, Sammy the Bull Gravano. Other than the two bosses that we had, probably the highest ranking guy that testified, turned state's evidence, so they say.
All right.
Became a rat.
If he would have done that back in the 60s and 70s, this dude would be dead.
Right. Well, he wanted him dead after he pretty much was the main reason John Gotti went to prison.
Hey,
so.
what are you going to do? John Gotti did himself. He did himself in.
How about don't talk shit on tapes that are inevitably going to get heard in court one day? So, yeah. He agreed to testify against him and other mobsters in a deal in which he confessed to involvement in 19 murders himself. So he got off on 19 murders just for saying, yeah, you know what, John did some shit. So, yeah, before we get into it, though, you guys already know what's up. Go check out our YouTube at Bang Dang Network if you're not already there, where you can find this show, our show Battles of the American Civil War, as well as our brand new podcast, Bang Dang Debate, where we randomly pick topics during the show.
Kicked off with a bang. The most heated debate question ever. You'll see that.
A preview of it right now is on our YouTube. So if you're not on our YouTube listening, go check out our YouTube at Bang Dang Network. And if you're just a Spotify podcast or Apple podcast kind of poison, you can share us with your friends, leave us a review, and answer that Spotify question. Oh, Sammy. Salvatore Gravano, born March 12, 1945, in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. He was born to Giorlando and Caterina. They called them Jerry and Kay Gravano. He was the youngest of 5 children, having 2 older sisters, 2 siblings who died before he was born as well.
Oh, shit.
Both of Gravano's parents hailed from Sicily. Sammy's mother, Caterina, born in 1906, arrived in the United States as a young girl from Puglia, Italy, while his father, born in 1901, arrived in the U.S. after jumping ship in Canada, and with help from his older brother, Alfonso, he was smuggled into the U.S. illegally. Alfonso was already an established bootlegger and made a member of the Sicilian Mafia at this time.
He was a bootlegger?
Wow, a made member of the Sicilian Mafia, huh?
He was his daddy was?
Oh, his uncle.
Oh.
Alfonso.
Oh, shit. Fantastic. Well, during Prohibition, Alfonso, he was a successful bootlegger and transported booze in the United States on both northeast and the northwest coast. Damn. As part of the Sunset Fleet, Alfonso, he ran booze through the Hudson River and other New York waterways.
Oh, you know some of that made it to Detroit.
Well, his booze made its way into the city. His booze made its way into the city to the Fulton Fish Market, and then sold to the New York speakeasies all around town. West Coast, his operation ran the booze from Canada to Oregon, near the Bow River. Oh, Jerry, he worked as a skilled fisherman in Sicily.
Okay.
In the U.S., he became a painter, working on houses and buildings as New York grew at a staggering rate.
Oh, he was never out of work.
Later on, Gravano's parents, they ran a small dress factory.
No, they're garments.
They loved that, dude, for some reason.
I mean, it's Italy, man.
Right.
Fashion capital of the world, ain't it?
His mother was a talented seamstress, so this made it very easy and a smart decision for them. Right?
Well, they maintained a good standard of living for the family. Early on, one of Gravano's relatives remarked that he looked like his Uncle Sammy. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
From that point on, everyone called Gravano Little Sammy instead of Salvatore Sal.
I knew that would be coming up sooner or later.
Age 13, Gravano joined the Rampers, who was a prominent street gang in Bensonhurst.
Oh.
He had found that some other children had stolen his bicycle and went to fight the thieves.
Some older children.
Made men, older children, other children too. Made men who were watching from a cafe saw him take on a few of the older boys at once, and they gave Gravano back his bike.
Oh, wow.
As he was leaving, one of the made men remarked on how little Sammy fought like a bull, hence his nickname, the Bull.
This guy got 2 nicknames.
Right, Sammy, and not even right.
Wow.
The dude's getting a nickname at 13, though.
Oh, shit. Well, Sammy, he had dyslexia.
Oh.
He was also bullied. He did poorly in school. Teachers, they classified him as being a slow learner. He was held back from grade advancement on 2 occasions, 4th and 7th grade. Damn. pretty bad when you're getting held back in the 4th grade.
Right.
I can see the 7th grade. That stuff's getting a little bit harder now, and you're really not paying attention anyway. And right. Well, he also punched school officials on 2 occasions as well.
Yeah, that's not helping his cause.
Oh, Sammy, he was eventually sent to a school for incorrigibles. Which was a 600 school. However, just before he reached the age of 16, the school refused to keep him any longer. And his parents signed him out of the school. And they're like, what the fuck are we going to do with you now, Sammy? Well, Sammy's father, he tried to redirect and discipline his son, including force him to attend Mass. But it had little to no success.
Well, in 1964, Gravano was drafted in the United States Army and served in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. While an enlisted man, Gravano mainly worked as a mess hall cook.
Damn,
he rose to the rank of corporal.
He didn't make it to Vietnam?
He rose to the rank of corporal and was granted an honorable discharge after 2 years. Good for you, buddy.
Look at this guy.
71, Gravano married Deborah Scabetta. You would think they would have put him back in, though, when we went, because he was only 20-something.
Right.
They had 2 children. His daughter, Karen Gravano, appeared on the VH1 reality series Mob Wives beginning in 2011. Okay, good for you.
Really?
Don't care. Well, later in his mob career, Gravano, which he didn't really want to do, but he was ordered to help arrange the murder of his wife's brother, Nicholas Scabetta.
Oh, shit.
He's also the brother-in-law of Gambino soldier Eddie Garofalo.
Oh.
Gravano was also a childhood friend of Colombo crime family associate Gerard Papa, who was also the leader of the Rampers.
No, we didn't have that guy, did we?
Mob everywhere. Well, we haven't had the Colombo family. So.
Right. Well, the Mafia, they had a long-standing presence in Bensonhurst.
Yeah, lots of people are from Bensonhurst.
Well, they did that through the Profasi family, which involved in the Colombo family.
Evolved.
Right. Despite his father's attempts to dissuade him, Gravano, like many of his Ramper colleagues, they drifted into the Cosa Nostra. Once you're in, you can't leave, bud. Just when you think you're out.
Well, you can.
Right. He first became associated with the Cosa Nostra in 1968 through his friend Tommy Spiro.
Oh, Tommy.
Whose Uncle Shorty, also named Tommy, was an associate of the Colombo family under future boss Carmine the Snake Persico. Gravano, he was initially involved in crimes such as larceny, hijacking, and armed robbery.
You know, typical.
He quickly moved into racketeering, loan sharking, and running a lucrative poker game in the back room of an after-hours club, of which he was part owner of.
Well, good for him. He became a particular favorite of family boss Carmine Persico, who used Gravano to picket the FBI Manhattan headquarters as part of the Joe Colombo Italian-American Civil Rights League initiative.
No shit.
Gravano's rise was so sudden that it was generally understood that he would be among the first to become made when they opened up their books again.
Right.
Which they had been closed since 57. We all know why.
Yeah, jeez.
In 70, Gravano committed his first murder.
Oh.
That of Joseph Colucci, a fellow Spiro associate with whose wife Tommy Spiro was having an affair. It's like,
That's bullshit.
It's like King sending husbands out to the front line so they can fuck his wife.
Right. That's bullshit. Who did that? Paul? Saul? Or David?
David.
Yeah, that's right. Gravano, he described the experience as this. As that Beatles song played, I became a killer. Joe Colucci was going to die.
Oh, shit.
I was going to kill him because he was plotting to kill me and Shorty Spiro.
Oh, sure he was.
I felt the rage inside me. Everything went in slow motion. I could almost feel the bullet leaving the gun and entering his skull. It was strange and deafening. I didn't hear the first shot. I didn't see any blood. His head didn't even seem to move. I then shot him a second time. It felt like I was a million miles away. Like this was all a dream.
Well, the Colucci murder won respect and approval from Persico for Gravano. Later in life, Gravano became a mentor to Colucci's son, Jack, who became involved in the construction industry as a Gambino associate. Oh, shit.
Nice.
Does he know who killed him?
Right.
Oh. It's like Tony hanging out with fucking Mike or Chrissy. Early 70s, Colombo soldier Ralph Spiro, brother of Shorty, became envious of Gravano's success, fearing that he would become a made man before his son Tommy.
Oh.
The rivalry culminated with the death of Ralph Ranga, another Colombo family soldier in Ralph Spiro's crew.
Oh, shit.
After Ranga's death, the rumor had spread that Gravano had attempted to pick up Ranga's widow, Sybil Davies, at a bar.
Oh, man.
Though Gravano maintained that Davies was the one hitting on him. Like, that bitch was hitting on me.
Which probably was true.
Oh, who cares?
Well, Ralph Spiro, he used this rumor in an attempt to gain support to have Gravano moited, or as an excuse to kill Gravano himself. While Shorty Spiro believed Gravano rather than Ralph, he and the Colombo hierarchy, they decided that to avoid this conflict altogether, it was best for Gravano to be transferred to the Gambino crime family. I didn't know you can do that.
Of course you can.
Hey, man, you want to take this guy?
And they like have a annual trade.
Right, like a draft.
Trade season, yeah.
Right. Made men, they're not allowed to be drafted.
Right.
Now, with the Gambinos, Gravano, he became an associate of Capo Salvatore Aurello. They call him Tato.
What up, Tato?
Well, Tato, he quickly took a liking to Gravano and became his mob mentor.
Good for you, buddy.
His mob dad.
Right.
Around this time, Gravano took a construction job, which he later claimed to have considered leaving the criminal life.
Yeah, right.
For that construction job. He loved it so much.
Sure. A former associate, however, falsely claimed to the New York District Attorney's Office that Gravano and another associate were responsible for a double murder of the Dunn brothers from 1969.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, no. After Gravano was indicted, he desperately needed money to pay his legal bills.
Oh.
Ain't gonna get it from construction, so he quit that job and went on a self-described robbing rampage for a year and a half, alongside his Goombada, Alexander Alleyboy Cuomo. Oh no, is it one of the Cuomos?
Oh,
the little fucking corrupt
bet it
bastards.
is.
A couple weeks into the trial, Gravano's lawyers moved to dismiss the charges due to the witness being declared legally insane.
Oh,
shit.
that worked out.
Wow.
All that robbing for nothing.
Well,
Well, Gravano later said of this legal problem as
pay his legal bills.
right. Gravano said this about that legal problem. He said, that pinch arrest changed my whole life. I never.
You wouldn't say pinch arrest.
Right.
Pinch means arrest.
Right. He said, that pinch changed my whole life. I never, ever stopped a second from there in on. I was like a madman. Never stopped stealing. Never stopped robbing.
He's like, I'll never not have money again.
Right. I was obsessed. Gravano's robbery spree impressed Aurelio.
Look at this little
Right.
fucking thief.
Right. Who proposed him for membership in the Gambino family soon after the membership books were reopened. They're like, this has got to be number one, man. 1976, Gravano formally initiated into the Gambino family as a made man, along with Tato's son, Charlie Boy Aurelio. Sammy and Charlie Boy had been friends since they were kids.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's like both of them going to the same college and getting drafted.
Right.
Right.
In 1978, boss Paul Castellano allegedly ordered the murder of Gambino associate Nicholas Scabetta. Cocaine and alcohol user, he participated in several public fights and insulted the daughter of George DeCicco. Can't do that.
Son of a bitch.
Since Scabetta was Gravano's brother-in-law, Castellano asked Frank DeCicco to first notify Gravano of the impending hit. When advised of his fate, Gravano was furious.
I mean, what are you going to do?
However, Gravano was eventually calmed by DeCicco and accepted Scabetta's death as the punishment earned by his behavior.
You're like, dude,
you knew this is the life we get into, buddy. So does he.
All right.
Well, Gravano later said, I chose against Nicky. I took an oath that Cosa Nostra came before everything.
Yeah.
Scabetta was then dismembered and his body was never found other than one hand.
Which is purposely
Which
done.
they wanted it to, right?
Damn. Can you imagine, dude? That's fucking insane.
And then have to go around your sister.
And then later turn state witness. I just don't understand it. You do all this shit and be like, well, that's enough. I mean, guess what? Lawyers.
I don't think he planned on turning state's witness. Probably didn't plan on his sister ever hearing this. I'm sure they're not friends anymore.
Right. Bitch.
Unless she didn't care.
Gravano, he later opened an after-hours club in Bensonhurst. It's called The Bus Stop.
Oh, very original.
The bar, there's a bus stop down the road.
Yes, sir.
Not from here.
Well, it's in Bridgeport.
Right. The bar was the scene of a violent altercation one night.
No.
Involving a rowdy biker gang intent on ransacking the establishment.
What kind of biker gang?
A melee ensued, in which Gravano broke his ankle and the bikers were chased off. And it wasn't the Hells Angels.
Right.
Gravano, he then went to Castellano and received permission to kill them all. Along with Laborio Melito, they call him Louis, Gravano hunted down the leader, wounded him, and then killing another member of the gang. Castellano, he was flabbergasted when he learned the crutch-ridden Gravano personally took part in the hit.
He was like, well, like his predecessor, Carlo Gambino, Castellano favored emphasizing more sophisticated schemes involving construction, trucking, and garbage disposal over the traditional degeneracy as loan sharking, gambling, and hijacking.
And it was smarter.
Right. Castellano had a particular interest in the construction business. Gravano entered into the plumbing and drywall business with his brother-in-law, Edward Garifola.
Fantastic.
There you go. Gravano's construction and other business interests soon
I think
earned
all of
him-
his brother-in-laws should stay away from him.
Right. Probably everybody, actually.
Right.
Gravano's construction and other business interests soon earned him a reputation as a big earner within the Gambino organization and made him a multi-millionaire.
And you know what happens to big earners? They're allowed to do a lot of things.
Right. It enabled him to build a large estate for him and his family in rural Cream Ridge, New Jersey.
Damn right.
Cream Ridge, New Jersey.
And he creamed on his wife's ridge every day.
Let's take a look at the demographics of that. I can almost guess what it is.
Right.
There's only 630 people there.
That's perfect.
It's like Coptown.
Talk about a small town, right?
You know Coptown?
Yeah.
You ever seen it with Sylvester Stallone?
Sure have.
Yeah, it's like right across. Well, this is a little bit of ways from. That's in South New Jersey. It's not even by New York. What the hell are you all the way down there for, buddy?
Right. He invested in trotting horses to race at the Meadowlands racetrack in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Gravano, he became the operator of a popular disco club. Look at that, guys. Fucking mobs in the disco. Oh, jeez. The Plaza Suite in the Gravesend section of Brooklyn. That's where this disco club was. It was called the Plaza Suite. He reportedly made $4,000 a week from the Plaza Suite.
That's it.
Gravano, he owned the building, and he used the bottom level as his business headquarters. Gravano, he further proved himself to Castellano when he interceded in a civil war that had erupted within the Philadelphia crime family.
Uh-oh.
In March of 1980, longtime Philadelphia boss Angelo Bruno, he was assassinated by his concierge, Antonio Caponegro, and his brother-in-law, Anthony Salerno.
Oh, no.
Salerno. Is he related to the other Salerno?
I don't know, maybe.
Without authorization from the commission itself. I didn't know Philadelphia crime family was part of the commission.
Obviously, why would it be? Well, the commission summoned Caponegro to New York. I don't know if that's what it says. That's what the internet says, guys. Where it sentenced him to death for his transgression.
Oh, shit.
After Caponegro was tortured and killed,
He was
like
hung from a tree.
Caponegro. Philip Testa was installed as the new Philadelphia boss and Nicky Scarfo as concierge.
Oh, look at that shit.
The commission subsequently placed contracts on Caponegro's co-conspirators, which included Johnny Key Simone, who also happened to be Bruno's cousin. Oh. The Simone. You can't
I was
trust
watching
nobody.
a TV series the other day, and they pronounce it consigliere.
Yeah, the consigliere,
Right.
consigliere.
Right. I like concierge better.
And Nicky Scarfo was the concierge.
Yeah.
The commission subsequently placed contracts on Caponegro's co-conspirators, including Johnny Key Simone, who also happened to be Bruno's cousin. You can't trust nobody.
Right.
The Simone contract was given to Gravano.
Oh.
After befriending Simone through a series of meetings, Gravano, with the assistance of Melito and D'Angelo, abducted Simone from Yardley Golf Club in Yardley, Pennsylvania, and drove him to a wooded area on Staten Island.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Well, Gravano then granted Simone's request to die with his shoes off in fulfillment of a promise he had made to his wife and at the hands of a made man. So you get to die by the hands of a
that
made
doesn't
man?
count. You were telling your wife you're going to die in bed or something, like
Right.
a peaceful, not fucking shot in the face.
Right. After Gravano removed Simone's shoes, Melito shot him in the back of the head,
Damn.
killing him instantly. Gravano, he later expressed admiration for Simone as a so-called man's man, remarking favorably on the calmness with which he accepted his fate. By the early 1980s, the Plaza Suite was a thriving establishment. Everybody went there. Patrons often had to wait an hour to get in, and the club featured high-profile live acts such as singer Chubby Checker.
All right, Chubby Checker.
Look at Chubby Checker.
All right, 1982, Frank Fiala, a wealthy businessman and drug trafficker, paid Gravano $40,000 to rent the Plaza Suite for a birthday party he was throwing himself.
Oh.
2 days after the party, Gravano accepted $1 million from Fiala to buy the establishment, which is much higher than the property value.
Oh, okay.
The deal was structured to include $50,000 as cash down payment, $650,000 in gold bullion under the table, and a $300,000 payment at the real estate closing. Oh, jeez. Before the transaction was completed, Fiala began acting like he already owned the club. Oh, come on, bud. I mean, you do kind of, though. You got a $50,000 cash payment.
Right.
Down payment. Bitch is mine.
Well, later on, after leaving the Plaza Suite, Gravano, he called Garafola and set up an ambush outside the club involving Garafola, Melito, D'Angelo, Nicholas Mormando, Michael Debat, Thomas Carbonara, and Johnny Holmes.
Okay.
Like, all these guys, you're going to be in this plan. Check this shit out. Later that same night, Gravano confronted Fiala on the street as he exited the Plaza Suite among a group of people asking, "Hey, Frank, how you doing?" As Fiala turned around, surprised to see Gravano, Melito came up behind him and shot him in the head.
Damn.
Holy shit. Melito stood over the body and fired a shot into each of Fiala's eyes. Damn. as Fiola's entourage and the crowd of people on the street dispersed, screaming. They just shot Fiola.
It's Fiala, but
right. Gravano walked up to Fiala's body and spat on him.
You fucking bitch.
Wait till the deal's over, motherfucker.
Right. Should have got that 650 gold bullion, though, but
damn it.
Well, Gravano was never charged for the crime. He had made a $5,000 payoff to the later discredited and disgraced New York Police Department homicide detective Louis Ippolito.
I think he was just trying to stay alive.
That ensured the investigation yielded no leads.
Right.
Although Gravano evaded criminal charges, he incurred Castellano's wrath over the unsanctioned killing.
Ooh, why? Well, who was this Fiala guy?
Well, he's a billionaire or millionaire. I'm sure he did some business with him.
He's a drug trafficker. So
Right. Gravano attempted to lie low for nearly 3 weeks afterwards, during which time he called his crew together and made the decision to kill Castellano if necessary.
Oh, shit.
Gravano and Melito were then summoned to a meeting with Castellano at a Manhattan restaurant.
Uh-oh.
Castellano had been given the details of what Fiala had done, but he was still livid that Gravano had not come to him for permission.
Right.
Gravano was spared execution when he convinced Castellano that the reason he kept him in the dark was to protect the boss in case something went wrong with the head. I was just protecting you, boss. I didn't want it to fall back on you, man.
He should have been dead. Wow. Fiala's murder posed one final problem for Gravano in the form of the IRS. The high publicity generated by the incident triggered an IRS investigation into Gravano and Fiala's deal for the sale of the Plaza Suite. And Gravano was subsequently charged with tax evasion, you dumb son of a bitch. Gravano, who was represented by Gerard Shargo, and he was acquitted at trial.
Good for him.
D'Angelo, he was later murdered by a Colombo family associate, celebrating his having been proposed for membership. Really? Well, that's pretty fucked up. The killer was then murdered himself on orders from the Colombo family.
What are you doing, dude? He's almost a made man already.
Right. Damn.
Well, in the aftermath of the Fiala murder, Gravano continued to focus on his construction business, branching out into the lucrative drywall industry. Drywall's kind of a
big thing, but
new thing. Drywall.
Yeah.
It was like plaster shit before.
Yeah, plaster. It was so bad.
New York City's cement industry was controlled by 4 of the 5 families, which made millions of dollars by manipulating bids and steering contracts.
Sure and fuck did.
Gravano said in 1998, I literally controlled Manhattan. Literally. You want concrete poured in Manhattan? That was me. Tishman, Donald Trump, all these guys. They couldn't build a building without me. We already knew that. Gravano eventually became embroiled in a dispute with his business partner Louis DeBono, a member of another Gambino crew.
Man-fucking-tastic. Well, Gravano and his brother-in-law Eddie, they had a meeting with DeBono, along with an attorney and an accountant DeBono brought, at which DeBono said only $50,000 was due. Well, Gravano excused the attorney and accountant, and once alone with Pagano, banged him around in the room because of the scam. Oh, putting his hands on another made man is a death penalty in Cosa Nostra. DeBono, he told his captain, he was little fucking
Patsy!
Oh, Patsy Conti. He told his captain, Patsy Conti. Conti then told Castellano, and they sit down and what's called. He's like, damn, Gravano again?
Hey, this fucking guy.
Tato, he spoke on Gravano and Gambino underboss Neil De Croce. Tato spoke on Gravano and Gambino underboss Neil Della Croce. He intervened on Gravano's behalf, and Castellano told DeBono to pay Gravano $200,000 and the two men and their business partnership.
Yeah, I would assume. Gravano standing with his boss slipped as a result of the incident. Della Croce, however, was rising star John Gotti's mentor.
Right.
And when word got back to him that Della Croce had supported Gravano, Gotti and other Gambino members were impressed.
It's like a civil war going on right now, too.
Right. During this time, the FBI intensified its efforts against the Gambino family, and in August of '83, 3 members of Gotti's crew, Angelo Ruggiero, John Carnaglia, and Gene Gotti, were all indicted for heroin.
Sure fuck were.
Castellano was Castellano was against anyone in the family dealing druggos, and Castellano planned to kill Gene and Ruggiero if he believed they were drug traffickers.
Oh, Castellano. He asked Ruggiero for a copy of the government surveillance tapes that had Ruggiero's conversations. To save Gene Gotti and Ruggiero, Della Croce, he stalled the demand. Eventually, one of the reasons for Gotti's killing Castellano was to save himself, his brother, and Ruggiero. The Ruggiero tapes not only had them talking about drugs, but also the bosses in commission. So stupid. Gotti was a moron. The FBI had bugged Ruggiero's house and telephone, and Castellano decided he needed copies of the tapes to justify his impending move to Della Croce and the family's other capos. I mean, dude, Castellano was kind of in the right here.
Even though he claimed that it was just for his lawyers to get him out of the trial that he was in right now.
Right.
When Castellano was indicted for both his connection to Roy DeMeo's stolen car ring and as part of the Mafia commission trial, he learned his own house had been bugged on the basis of evidence from the Ruggiero tapes, and he became livid. Wow. June of 85, he again demanded that Della Croce get him the tapes. Della Croce tried to convince Gotti and Ruggiero to comply if Castellano explained beforehand how he intended to use the tapes, but Ruggiero refused, fearing he would endanger good friends.
Well, at this point in time, Castellano wasn't to be trusted by anybody.
Right.
Son of a bitch. Prior to Castellano's indictment, Gravano, he was approached by Robert Di Bernardo, a fellow Gambino member acting as a go-between for Gotti. Di Bernardo, he informed him that Gotti and Ruggiero wanted to meet with him in Queens. So Gravano arrived to find only Ruggiero was present. Ruggiero informed Gravano that he and Gotti were planning to murder Castellano, and he asked for Gravano's support. Gravano, he was initially non-committal, wanting to confer first with Frank DeCicco. Well, in that conversation with DeCicco, both men voiced concern that Castellano would designate his nephew, Thomas Gambino, acting boss, and his driver, Thomas Bellotti, underboss in the event he was convicted and sent to prison. They're like, we can't have that. Neither man appealed to Gravano or DeCicco as leadership material. They're like, nah, you're talking about shit's going down. I mean, it's going to be fucked up with Gotti, but at least we'll have a chance. Right. And they ultimately decided to support the hit on Castellano. They're like, let's do it.
Right. Well, Gravano's first choice to become boss after Castellano's murder was Frank DeCicco, but DeCicco felt John Gotti's ego was too big to take a subservient role. We got to do that. DeCicco argued that Gotti's boldness, intelligence, and charisma made him well-suited to be a good boss, and he convinced Gravano to give Gotti a chance. And they said they made a secret deal to kill Gotti and take over the family as boss and underbosses, respectively, if they were unhappy with Gotti's leadership after a year.
Ooh.
The conspirators' first order of business was meeting with other Gambino members, most of whom were disaffected under Castellano and gaining their support for the hit.
Dude.
Like, you can't have a bunch of people that hate you, and then when they decide to fucking put a hit on you, you're done.
This is how ridiculous the mob is. You could be hanging out with somebody for 10 years and go to their house one day not knowing the night before or maybe the hour before they'll be like, should we kill this guy?
Right.
What if he fucks up? Well, we might have to kill him. Just give him 6 months. Hey, what's going on, John?
Well, how you doing, man?
You know I'll die for you, buddy. Wow, we got a fucking correspondent going on here.
Right.
Shit. They also recruited longtime capo Joseph Piney Armone into the conspiracy to kill Castellano. Well, Armone's support was critical. They needed this because he was respected by an old-timer in the family. No.
Yeah, that one old-timer over there, he really respects Armone.
Well, Armone, his support was very critical because he was a respected old-timer in the family, and it was believed that he could help win over Castellano supporters for the new regime. And you got to have somebody, right? The next step was smoothing over the planned hit with the other families. It has long been a hard and fast rule in the Mafia that killing a boss is forbidden without the support of the majority of the commission. Indeed, Gotti's planned hit would have been the first off-the-record hit on a boss since Frank Costello was nearly killed in 1957. And you know what happened to Frank? He was like, I'm out. He's like, what? I'm out of here, boys.
Well, knowing it would be too risky to approach the other four bosses directly, the conspirators got the support of several important mobsters of their generation in the Lucchese, Colombo, and Bonanno families.
Wow.
Gotti and Ruggiero then sought and obtained the approval of key figures from the Colombos and Bonannos.
How do you have so many people know about something and not get back to Castellano? I just don't These motherfuckers don't talk. Loose lips.
If you're getting the right people that don't like them.
Right.
On the other hand, DeCicco secured the backing of top mobsters aligned with the Lucchese's. They did not even consider approaching the Genovese's, since Castellano had especially close ties with Genovese boss Vincent the Chin Gigante.
Yeah, they weren't touching those.
And approaching any major Genovese figure, even one of their generation, could have been a tip-off.
Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, like, fuck the Genovese's.
Right. You know, those guys, they're all state witness anyway. Wasn't that the one?
Right.
Jeez. They're just turning each other left and right. I don't even know how they're still even in the commission. Gotti, he could claim that he had support of the off-the-record contacts from 3 out of the 5 families. I think that's a majority, right? With Neo Della Croce's death on December 2nd, 1985, the final constraint on a move by Gotti or Castellano against the other was removed. Look at that. Gotti, enraged that Castellano chose not to attend his mentor's wake, wasted little time in striking. Not suspecting the plot against him, Castellano invited DeCicco to a meeting on the 16th December, 1985. He did that with fellow capos Thomas Gambino, James Faella, Johnny Gamarana, and Danny Marino.
Dan the Man Marino.
Laces out, Dan. They did that at Spark Steakhouse in Manhattan.
Yes.
You think it was actually Dan Marino? He just, how can I hide my identity? Just put an NY at the end. Danny's.
Right.
Let's go to Danny's.
The conspirators considered the restaurant a prime location for beef and as well as for fucking a hit, right. Because the area would be packed with bustling crowds of holiday
beef
shoppers.
And settling beef.
Right. Oh, that would make it easier for assassins to blend in and escape.
Right.
The plans for assassination were finalized December 15th. The next afternoon, the conspirators met for a final time on the Lower East Side.
Oh, man.
At Gotti's suggestion, the shooters were to wear long white trench coats and black fur Russian hats.
Damn, where do you get white trench coats from? I've never seen a white trench coat before.
Anywhere you want.
Really?
Which Gravano considered a brilliant idea. Brilliant!
Make them look like they're Russians. Yeah, I get it. Well, Gotti and Gravano, they arrived at the restaurant shortly before 5 o'clock. And after circling the block, parked their cars across the intersection and within view of the entrance. Around 5:30 p.m., Gravano spotted Castellano's Lincoln Town car. It was stopped at a nearby intersection. And via walkie-talkie, he alerted the team of hitmen stationed outside the restaurant of Castellano's approach, like targets coming. Castellano's driver, Thomas Bellotti, pulled the car up directly in front of the entrance. As Castellano and Bellotti exited the Lincoln, they were ambushed and murdered in a barrage of bullets right on Main Street. Jeez. As the hat and trench coat adorned men slipped away into the night, wearing white. Right. Makes sense. Gotti calmly drove the car past the front of the restaurant to get a look at the scene. Looking down at Bellotti's body from the passenger window, Gravano remarked, "He's gone."
He gone. Well, after Castellano's death, Gallo, the only surviving member of the hierarchy, convened a three-man committee to temporarily run the family, comprising of himself, Gotti, and DeCicco. However, it was an open secret that Gotti was acting boss in all but name.
Right.
And nearly all the family's capos knew he had been the one behind the hit.
Right.
Gotti was formally acclaimed as the new boss of the Gambino family at a meeting of 20 capos held January 15, 1986.
Fantastic.
Gotti, in turn, selected DeCicco as his underboss.
You better have.
And then he elevated Gravano to capo after Tato Aurello announced his desire to step down. He said, I got to go out of there after
He's
this.
like, you guys are a little crazy. Yeah, I'm going to go join the Bananos.
April 13th, 1986, DeCicco was killed when his car was bombed.
Fucking assholes.
Following a visit to Castellano loyalist James Falla. The bombing was carried out by Victor Amuso and Anthony Casso of the Lucchese family, which was under the orders of Gigante and Lucchese boss Anthony Corallo, which was to avenge Castellano and Bellotti by killing their successors. Gotti had also planned to visit Falla that day, but canceled. He was actually the target of the bomb.
Right.
The bomb was detonated after soldier Frankie Hartz asked DeCicco for a lawyer's business card. DeCicco went to his car to retrieve the card, and when he sat in the passenger seat, the bomb exploded.
Son of a bitch.
Bombs had long been banned by the Mafia by concern that it would put innocent people in harm's way, leading the Gambinos to initially suspect that it was the Zips, or the Sicilian Mafia working in the U.S., which were well known for using bombs. Also the Ireland guys, too.
Right, yeah. Well, the very first person on Gravano's hit list after Castellano's murder, you guessed it, Nicholas Mormando. They call him Nicky Cowboy.
It doesn't say that in here, but I think Bellotti's episode, or Castellano's or whatever, didn't Gravano say that he was like right around the corner when the bomb went off? And
I think that was DeCicco's episode.
Or Gravano still said it. Right. He said that all the blood was gone from...
right. Yeah, everything was gone.
From DeCicco, and there was like no...
It's crazy.
His body was like, he was like pulling fucking body parts and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
That was rough. First person on Gravano's hit list after Castellano's murder, Nicholas Mormando. They call him Nicky Cowboy. He's a former member of his crew. Mormando had become addicted to crack cocaine. He was suspected by Gravano of getting friend and fellow crew member Michael DeBat addicted to that very same drug. Well, Gravano, he decided because of Nicky's reckless behavior, including getting DeBat addicted to crack, and guess what? I'm getting permission from Gotti. You're dead, Mormando. Oh, Nicky Cowboy. Well, Gravano arranged to have Mormando murdered on his way to meeting at the Gravano's Bensonhurst restaurant, which is called Tally's. After assuring Mormando of his safety, Gravano... No, why are you going to lie to the guy?
That should have been Mormando's first inclination.
Oh, you'll be all right, bud.
I won't.
Right. Gravano told him to pick up Joseph Peruta on his way. Peruta, he got in the back seat of the car and shot Mormando twice in the back of the head. Mormando's corpse was then disposed of in a vacant lot where it could be discovered the very next day. So everybody would
by design.
know. Right.
Well, we all know Gotti was then in prison May of 86 at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York while awaiting trial on RICO charges. He relied heavily on Gravano, Angelo Ruggiero, and Joseph Piney Armone to manage the family's day-to-day affairs while he called the major shots from his jail cell. In June, Gravano was approached by Ruggiero and, supposedly at Gotti's behest, was given orders to murder Capo Robert DiBernardo for making negative remarks about Gotti's leadership.
Oh, shit.
Gravano was friendly with DiBernardo and tried to get the murder called off until he had a chance to speak with Gotti after his trial.
Oh, man, here we go. Well, Gravano, he met with Joseph Piney, where Piney explained Gotti wanted DiBernardo dead. Ruggiero, he claimed to have met again with Gotti and told Gravano the boss wanted DiBernardo killed.
You gotta do it, Sammy. You gotta do it, Sammy.
Instantly. I don't want you to wait. I want this dude dead by the end of the night. Gravano, he arranged a meeting with DiBernardo, where Joe Peruta, a member of Gravano's crew, damn, look at this guy, just shooting everybody. He shot DiBernardo twice in the back of the head as Gravano watched. Well, Sammy later learned that Ruggiero was $250,000 in debt to DiBernardo, and then he realized that Ruggiero may have fabricated the orders from Gotti, or simply lied to Gotti about what DiBernardo was accused of saying in order to erase the debt and improve his own standing in the family. What a piece of shit.
Surprise me.
That sounds like Ruggiero to me.
Right.
Jeez.
Well, in any event, DiBernardo's death proved profitable for Gravano as he took over the deceased man's control of Teamsters Logo 282. Gotti's trial ultimately ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury, and the boss was freed from jail. Gravano's specific position within the family varied during 86 and 87. With Gotti's permission, he set up several murders with other Gambino's associates.
Wow.
86, Gotti underwent a racketeering trial. Jury selection for the racketeering case began in August of 86, with Gotti standing trial alongside Gene Willie Boy Johnson, who, despite being exposed as an informant, refused to turn state's evidence. Also involved in that trial was Leonard Di Maria, Tony Rampino, Nicholas Carrazzo, and John Carnaglia.
Oh, okay. At this very point, the Gambinos were able to compromise the case when George Pape hit his friendship with Bosco Radonjic.
Yep.
And he was impaneled as juror number 11.
Yes, sir.
Through Radonjic, Pape, he contacted Gravano and agreed to sell his vote on the jury for $60,000. That's not very much.
87 was probably a couple $100,000.
Right. 13th of March, year 1987. They acquitted Gotti and his confidants of all charges.
Or co-defendants as well.
Yes, co-defendants.
Confidants as well.
In the face of previous Mafia convictions, particularly the success of the Mafia Commission trial, Gotti's acquittal was a major upset. They were like, yeah, we got these guys before. We can easily get them. Well, it was an upset that further added to his reputation as
the old Teflon Don.
Did that? Yeah, of course they call him that because no charges were able to stick on the old Gotti.
87, Joseph N. Gallo was replaced with Gravano as consigliere, and by 90, Gravano was promoted to underboss to replace the acting underboss, Frank Lacasio.
Oh.
By this time, Gravano was regarded as a rising force in the construction industry and often mingled with executives from major construction firms and union officials at his popular Bensonhurst restaurant. Gravano's success was not without downside, though. First, his quick rise up to the Gambino hierarchy attracted the attention of the FBI.
Of course it did.
And he was soon placed under surveillance. Second, he started to sense some jealousy from Gotti over the profitability of his legitimate business interest. Right. Well, nevertheless, Gravano claimed to be kicking up over $2 million a year to Gotti out of his union activities alone. That's just giving it to Gotti. That's not even what he's making.
Shit.
Beginning in January of 88, Gotti, against Gravano's advice, required his capos to meet with him at the Ravenite Social Club once a week, which we all know what's going to happen after that.
Well, Gotti's
Gotti's got to be...
He's so dumb. Everybody thinks he's so great, too. It's just retarded how dumb this guy
Didn't learn from Ruggiero at all.
Right. Well, Gotti, Gravano, and Lucchesio, they were often recorded by bugs placed throughout the Ravenite, which was concealed in the main room, the first floor hallway, and the upstairs apartment. They were on tape discussing incriminating events, obviously.
Right.
The year 1990, day of 11th of December, FBI agent and NYPD detectives raided the Ravenite. Is it the Ravenite?
Ravenite.
They arrested Gravano, Gotti, and Lucchesio. Gravano pled guilty to a superseding racketeering charge. Gotti charged with 5 murders, which was Castellano, Bellotti, DiBernardo, Liborio Melito, and Luis Di Bono. Also, conspiracy to murder Gaetano Vastola, loan sharking, illegal gambling, obstruction of justice, bribery, and guess what's one that's always going to stick? The tax evasion.
Well, they're going to get him with one of them regardless.
Right.
Well, based on tapes from the FBI bugs played at pretrial hearings, the Gambino administration was denied bail.
Ooh.
At the same time, attorneys Bruce Cutler and Gerald Shargle were disqualified from defending Gotti and Gravano after prosecutors successfully contended they were part of the evidence and thus liable to be called as witnesses. You can't have that.
Right.
Prosecutors argued that Cutler and Shargle not only knew about potential criminal activity, but had worked as in-house counsel for the Gambino family. Obviously, probably directing them how to get around the law.
Well, Gotti, he subsequently hired Albert Krieger, which was a Miami attorney who had worked with Joseph Bonanno. He's like, you're going to replace Cutler for me, bud. The tapes also created a rift between Gotti and Gravano, as they contained recordings of the Gambino boss describing his newly appointed underboss as too greedy and included discussions of Gotti's intent to frame Gravano. Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be Gotti's downfall.
Wow. He's like, we're going to frame Gravano as the main force behind the murders of DiBernardo, Melito, and DeBono. So he's got to go. Gotti's attempt at reconciliation with Gravano, guess what? Failed. It left Sammy DeBow disillusioned with the mob and doubtful on his chances of winning his case without Shargle, his former attorney. He's like, I'm fucked.
Well, we all know what happened. He ultimately opted to turn state's evidence, formally agreeing to testify November 13th, 1991. Oh, man. He was the first member of the hierarchy of a New York crime family to turn informer.
Oh, shit.
And the second confessed underboss in the history of the American Mafia to do so after the Philadelphia crime family's Phil Leonetti. We'll get to him. Gotti and Lucasio were tried in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York before District Judge I. Leo Glasser.
Fantastic.
Jury selection began January 92 with an anonymous jury and, for the first time in a Brooklyn federal case, fully sequestered during the trial due to Gotti's reputation for jury tampering. They should have learned that the second trial.
Idiots. Well, the trial commenced with the prosecution's opening statements on the 12th of February. Prosecutors Andrew Maloney and John Gleason began their case by playing tapes showing Gotti discussing Gambino family business, including murders he approved, and confirming the animosity that between Gotti and Castellano to establish the former's motive to kill his very own boss. After calling an eyewitness of the Sparks hit, who identified Carneglia as one of the men who shot Bellotti, they then brought Gravano to testify on the 2nd of March. Like, come on, buddy, you're a star fucking witness.
And see, this is where it all came crashing down for Gotti and the public, too, because once they started hearing these tapes, and he's on tape fucking this and fucking that and talking about killing people, pieces of shit and rat motherfuckers.
Right.
They were like, wow, this is what this guy's actually like, not this lovable fucking guy we see in the news. Yeah, so this whole shit changed after that. Well, on the stand, Gravano confirmed Gotti's place in the structure of the Gambino family and described in detail the conspiracy to assassinate Castellano, giving a full description of the hit and its aftermath.
Gotta do it.
Gravano confessed to 19 murders, implicating Gotti in 4 of them. Krieger and Lucasio's attorney, Anthony Cardinale, proved unable to shake Gravano during cross-examination due to the fucking Mafia guy.
All right.
After additional testimony and tapes, the government rested its case March 24th. Among other outbursts, Gotti called Gravano a junkie while his attorney sought to discuss his past steroid use. Oh shit, he was pissed.
Wow. 23rd of June, 1992. Glasser sentenced Gotti and Lucasio to life in prison with no parole, baby, and plus a $250,000 fine. Gotti surrendered to the federal authorities to serve his prison time on the 14th of December.
Motherfucker stuck at 6 months.
Damn.
Well,
damn.
They let him out for 6 months after they put him on life?
That's crazy.
Wow.
26 September 1994. Federal judge sentenced Gravano 5 years in prison.
Yeah, 19 murders confessed as well.
Fantastic. However, since Gravano had already served 4 years, the sentence amounted to less than a year.
Look at this guy.
Good for him.
Oh, later in 94, Gravano was released early and entered the U.S. Federal Witness Protection
I bet
Program.
he fucking did. How the hell do they keep him safe in prison? I'd like to know.
The government moved him to various locations until Gravano
Does he ever
left.
talk about that?
I'm sure he has. He was probably in 24 or 23-hour lockdown.
Right.
The government moved him to various locations until Gravano voluntarily left the program in 95 after only 8 months and moved to Phoenix, where he assumed the name Jimmy Moran and started a swimming pool installation company.
Fantastic.
Federal prosecutor later said that Gravano did not like the constraints of the program, clearly.
Did he get to keep all of his money? Probably not.
I mean, I don't know. How do you just start a swimming pool installation company with no money?
Right.
Gravano then began living very openly, giving interviews to magazines and appearing in a nationally televised interview with Diane Sawyer for 60 Minutes or some shit.
Yeah.
It was reported that he had undergone plastic surgery to his face. Sure he did. In 91, his wife, Deborah, divorced him.
What's the sense of having plastic surgery now if you're just going to go out and do fucking
Maybe
interviews?
His face was blurred.
Right. 97, Gravano consulted several times for a 1997 biographical book about his life called Underboss. The author was Peter Maas. In that very book, Gravano said he became a government witness after Gotti attempted to defame him at their very own trial. He's like, dude, call me a fucking junkie. Gravano finally realized that the Costa Nostra Code of Honor was a sham.
Oh, he finally realized it after seeing how many people already turned.
At this time, Gravano also hired a publicist, despite the fact Gravano complained often about the publicity seeking Gotti.
Right. I mean, might as well. You gotta get rich somehow.
After the publication of the Underboss book, several families of the Gravano victims filed a $25 million hair lawsuit against Gravano. However, the families lost that very case.
Can't do nothing about it when he was already immunity.
Right. Year 1997, New York State indicted Gravano on an old RICO case and seized Gravano's profits from the book. Oh,
shit.
the piece of shits.
During an interview Gravano had with the newspaper The Arizona Republic, he said federal agents he had met after becoming a government witness had become his personal friends and even visited him in Arizona while on vacation. Gravano later said he did not want the Republic to publish the story, but relented after the paper allegedly threatened to reveal that his family was living with him in Phoenix.
Jeez.
What a piece of shit paper.
Right.
Talking about doing mob tactics to the mobster.
Kidding, son of a bitch.
The story so incensed his former mob compatriots that they forced the Gambinos to put a murder contract on him.
Oh, shit.
The FBI alleged that Peter Gotti ordered two Gambino soldiers, Thomas Huck Carbonaro and Eddie Garafola, to murder Gravano in Arizona in 1999.
Uh-oh.
Apparently never happened.
By the late 90s, Gravano had re-engaged in criminal activity. His son, Gerard, became friends with 23-year-old Michael Papa, a Devil Dogs gang leader. Biker gang?
Maybe.
Gravano started a major ecstasy trafficking organization, selling over 30,000 tablets and reportedly grossing $500,000 a week.
Jeez.
Wow. February, year 2000, Gravano and nearly 40 other ring members, including his ex-wife Deborah and daughter Karen and his son Gerard, they were all arrested on federal and state drug charges. They didn't bring down the whole fucking family.
Right.
Gravano was implicated by informants in his own drug ring. What an idiot. As well as being recorded in conversation. What? You dumb son of a bitch. That was your whole gripe with fucking Gotti.
Oh, jeez.
Wow, he's recording conversations which he discussed drug profits with Deborah and Karen. Who recorded them?
The fucking informants, I'm guessing.
Wow, 25th of May, year 2001. Gravano pled guilty in New York federal court, drug trafficking. 29th of June 2001, Gravano pled guilty in Phoenix to state charges that he had.
Jeez.
Wow.
In 2002, Gravano was diagnosed with Graves' disease, which was a thyroid disorder that can cause fatigue, weight loss with increased appetite, and hair loss.
Oh.
September 7th, 2002, after numerous delays, Gravano was sentenced in New York to 20 years.
Son of a bitch.
A month later, he was also sentenced in Arizona to 19 years to run concurrently, but also granted lifetime supervised release and a $100,000 fine.
Okay.
Gravano served his sentence at ADX Florence, part of it being in solitary confinement. Gerard Gravano received 9 years in prison in October of 2002 as well.
Oh, well, his wife Deborah, daughter Karen, pled guilty, received several years on probation. Oh, that's cool. 2003, year November, Sammy and Karen were ordered to pay $805,713.41
Right.
as reimbursement for court costs. Damn. And investigative expenses relating to an earlier drug ring judgment. 24th of February, year 2003, New Jersey state prosecutors announced Gravano's indictment for ordering the 1980 killing of NYPD detective Peter Calabro. The murderer was Richard Kuklinski.
Isn't he a serial killer?
Yeah, the Iceman.
Oh, the Iceman, right. Damn.
They made several movies.
Yeah, well, there's about fucking 15 HBO documentary things with him in it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the most famous one was with Ben Affleck.
I don't know about the movies. I'm talking about actual documentaries of him interviewed in prison, like
Right.
detailing his killings and shit.
Right. Well, as you would guess, Gravano denied any involvement in Calabro's death and rejected a plea deal. I mean, he did confess to 19 murders. Why wouldn't he confess to that? Under which he would have received no additional jail time if he confessed to the crime and implicated all his accomplices. Oh.
The charges against Gravano were dropped after Kalinski's death in 2006.
Oh, wow.
Said, couldn't charge it no more. August 2015, fast forward, Gravano's request to leave prison early was denied for reasons citing his long-standing reputation for extreme violence. He was then listed as being in the Arizona State Prison System at a CO Special Services Unit. He was initially scheduled for release March 2019. However, he ended up being released September 18th, 2017.
Fantastic. Good for him, huh? Got out just in time to get COVID. 2013, National Geographic Channel dramatized Gravano's ecstasy ring in a scene in the Banged Up Abroad episode Raving Arizona, which was televised worldwide.
Okay.
This very episode told the story of ecstasy dealer English Sean Atwood, who was Gravano's main competitor in the Arizona ecstasy market. By the year of December 2020, Gravano started a YouTube channel and a podcast titled Our Thing. Good for him, and he's still going today.
Which, I don't know if it's not on his podcast, but you guys know who Patrick Bet David is. I think around this same time he started his thing in the Mafia thing. Him, Gravano, and Michael Franzese, who has another popular channel, they have like a 2-hour-long sit-down, and it's fucking heated. These guys are like yelling at each other calling them cocksuckers and pieces of shit. You ain't never done nothing in the mob, Gravano says. I killed 19 people, and fucking... Michael's like, I don't care, man. And they were going back and forth. It's hilarious, so check that out. But, yeah, and then they had a couple other sit-downs together after that, and they're all friendly and good for them. So, yeah. But you guys go check out his channel. If you believe anything he says, you never know if you can believe a mobster. But good stuff, Sammy. We're going to round out the old Gambino crime family for us. Shit, about damn time. That's all I got to say. I'm fucking sick of the damn Gambinos. Holy shit. I think next month, I don't know, well, whatever, we'll do the Lucchese's. We'll say it now. Who cares? Lucchese's and Columbo's are left. Columbo's, Lucchese's, I don't know, we'll see.
Right. One of them,
obviously. We got to do them both anyway, so one of them will be done. So that's that. Next week, we'll be almost wrapping up our Hell's Angels series as we'll take a look at Canada. Which is actually a pretty decently long one.
Oh, Canada.
And then we'll continue with our remastered and into our serial killers some more. So that's the next couple weeks here on the old Outlaws and Gunslingers. Remember, go check out our YouTube channel, because right about, I think the day after this comes out on YouTube, well, Tuesday this will come out. I think Wednesday will be our Bang Dang debate.
Heated.
Exclusive YouTube show where we already recorded that. What did we debate? We debated
live fact checks too, buds. Live.
We debated gay marriage be legal in America. We debated should animals be tested on. We debated college tuition, should it be free? And we also debated a little lighthearted topic to end it. Is cold pizza the best way to eat pizza? Which that was probably the most heated of the debates that we had. The other one. So that'll be on YouTube Wednesday. So go check us out. Give us a subscription at Bang Dang Network. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, give us a review. Share us with your friends. Answer that Spotify question. We'll be back next week for more Outlaws, Gunslingers. We are the Mouth of Michiganders.
Bang Dang.